Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm April Knight in for Sandra Gamansing. Topping our newscast today was the big day for the historic deal between Lime Tree Bay Terminals and the Virgin Islands government. The Senate heard from testifiers again on Bill number 31-0283. And in addition to concerns about the small number of jobs guaranteed by and the massive tax exemptions for Lime Tree Bay, there were also some clarifications on which entity owns what. According to Lime Tree, they will own the structures sitting on Hovenza land. They will also own the land under the storage tanks, but not the land under the refinery structure, although they do have the option to buy that in the future for $1 an acre. Lawmakers were also concerned about the names of various entities that seem to be interchangeable in the discussion of the operating agreement. There was ArcLight and then Lime Tree Bay Holdings and then Lime Tree Bay Terminals, so they wanted to get some clarification.
Are you comfortable that there are no embedded loopholes that 10 years from now we'll kind of be sorry because we missed it?
Joe Holt for the government. I'm completely comfortable. I see the deeds. The deeds are all going to go to Lime Tree Bay Terminals. They're going to own the property and they're going to operate it. So I'm completely comfortable with their ownership. To the extent that they can afford to pay everything, that's why we have the financial assurance from their parent company, and that's why we have the security agreement.
By news time, the Senate had just voted to convene in session to address the bill. We'll have more on Tuesday's Senate session on Wednesday. Well, that Senate session on ArcLight got pushed back to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and according to Senate President Neville James, the island-wide power outage is to blame. On Tuesday, St. Thomas woke up to no power, and by noon, WAPA was still trying to figure out what went wrong. Traffic lights were down and generators could be heard rumbling across downtown. Government agencies were affected. The health department decided to dismiss all its employees because of the outage, resulting in closure of the health department offices across the island. The Department of Human Services was also temporarily closed. Innovative's hybrid fiber coaxial network was also affected. Here's more from WAPA Director Hugo Hodge, who said that it's all about operator error.
When it all came to a head, it was actually operator error and human error that caused the outage. It was an error in how fuel was being moved from one set of tanks to a next to prepare for delivery later on in the day. When we restore all power from an outage, we restore it at a certain time. That doesn't mean that during a normal case of the day where you may have a pocket of customers on a certain part of the island. Like there were some people on the north side that were out from a recloser being opened for some issues downstream.
The Virgin Islands Police Department is using technological measures to assist officers in halting illegal gun activity during New Year's Eve. The VIPD also wants to remind the public that celebratory gunfire or discharge of a firearm into the air in celebration is both illegal and extremely dangerous. The consequences of shooting toward the sky can be disastrous for your neighbors and your own family. News 2's Stephanie Brown has that story.
While residents and visitors are enjoying the festivities at this year's Crucian Christmas Carnival in the Virgin Islands, the Virgin Islands Police Department has actively reminded the public to stay safe and adhere to the law. Since the last Tramping Christians at St. Croix was canceled earlier this month due to violence, Police Commissioner Delroy Richards Sr. spoke at the village opening and stated he wanted everyone to enjoy Christmas Carnival events as well as the upcoming Juve. Arthur A. Hector, Senior Deputy Police Chief of St. Croix, spoke about the measures the police department is taking to keep all citizens safe.
And I want to talk just a little bit about the Juve. I want to assure the public, first of all, that we have an operation plan that has been set in place for the Juve that is going to set the stage for exactly how the operation should run in particularly for the Juve. There is going to be 3 bands. 3 bands and a steel band along with a DJ. We're setting up where we'll have specific assignments for officers that's going to incorporate getting all of these things done. On top of that, we will have police assigned throughout the routes of the Juve, again, for everybody's safety.
Additionally, the Virgin Islands Police Department is enforcing celebratory gunfire laws as the new year approaches. ShotSpotter technology is a hardware and software used by the law enforcement community to detect gunfire, and it also collects data that helps law enforcement define the scope of illegal gunfire. Police Chief Hector spoke about ShotSpotter and how it has helped the Virgin Islands Police Department.
The ShotSpotter system that we've been using now for some years now. The ShotSpotter system has been very, very helpful to us throughout the years. It actually identifies where these gunfire take place.
Stephanie Brown, News 2.
Thank you for that, Stephanie. VI Deputy Police Chief Arthur Hector also stated that a strategic plan was made by the VIPD to ensure the safety of individuals participating in Juve on St. Croix. Well, last night, the Crucian Christmas Carnival Village highlighted traditional Virgin Islands music, dance, and fashion at Cultural Night. The annual Quelbe Tramp, led by Stanley and the 10 Sleepless Nights, steered revelers throughout the Frederiksted streets. Tramp goers greeted one another and welcomed home many locals that reside abroad who have returned home to enjoy the holidays. On the main stage, village spectators enjoyed a cultural fashion organized by JG Talent and Model Management Agency. Many newly crowned royalties modeled their cultural wear garments on stage as well. Also, the Widaya cultural dancers performed traditional Virgin Islands quadrille dances. The quadrille group first demonstrated the intricate square dances and then included individuals in the crowd. Looked like everyone had a blast. Well, the West Indian Company has sent out a correction on the new single tariff recently finalized by the WICO board during their December 15th board meeting. It was initially reported that the new tariff will be $13.60 per passenger. The amount is actually $13.40 per passenger. The single tariff applies to all lines berthing in St. Thomas, St. John, effective October 1st, 2016. Well, if you're experiencing channel blackouts on your innovative cable TV, that's because of ongoing negotiations between AMC Networks and NCTC. The National Cable Telecommunications Cooperative is a not-for-profit cable TV co-op that negotiates programming fees for innovative and over 700 small cable operators across the U.S. According to Innovative, AMC Networks, owner of cable networks such as AMC, BBC America, WE and IFC, are currently demanding large fee increases and have refused to allow these networks to remain available to Innovative subscribers during discussions of a new contract. Innovative executives also say the price increases would be excessive, especially in the territory's current economic situation, and would be unfair to Innovative customers. Well, 'tis a season of gift-giving and family, but before the Yuletide festivities began, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands gathered community stakeholders together with the goal of turning the data from the annual Kids Count project into workable programs that benefit the territory's struggling children and families. News 2's Monica Jonigan has more.
When the Kids Count Virgin Islands project launched 16 years ago, the numbers on children and families living in poverty in the territory came as a shock.
Feel like we know everybody, so we know how everyone's living and we know what the problems are. And the introduction of data helps open people's eyes that maybe their neighbors don't have the life that they're assuming they have. So one of the things, when we started the project 15 years ago, one of the biggest conversations was around the poverty numbers, that there was a disbelief in the community that this could really be so, that we had such a high level of poverty for children. And we were basically hiding it from each other, or we were living in small neighborhoods or groups so that we weren't aware of what some of the families were challenged by. And I think that in many ways, that poverty discussion now is accepted and understood, and it does drive some of our priorities in how we do programs and plans and how government agencies deliver services.
CFBI invited community stakeholders who affect policy and programs that directly impact the territory's youth and families to forums held on St. Thomas and St. Croix to drive home a new collaborative focus.
And some of the things that were highlighted were some of our main data points regarding childhood readiness, third grade reading.
Not only that, we talk so much about what the problems are, what can we actually do? What are some proposed solutions? So how can we move from these are the issues, these are the problems, to here's what we can actually do, specifically with who's in the room, or who's at your table. What can actually be done to turn something from ideas to something actionable and something concrete.
Monica Jonigan, News 2.
CFVI and Kids Count encourage the community to stay engaged. Look them up online or on social media to find out more and get the data on the territory's children's population. Well, turning our attention stateside, the holidays did not bring good tidings to the family of 12-year-old Tamir Rice. 2 Ohio police officers will not be charged in Rice's shooting death. The decision was finally reached by a grand jury on Monday. Mary Maloney reports.
Rain didn't stop protesters in Cleveland. They marched following the announcement there would be no charges in the death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice.
Based on the evidence they heard and the law as it applies to police use of deadly force, the grand jury declined to bring criminal charges against Cleveland police officers Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbeck.
The grand jury has been hearing testimony since October about the fatal shooting of Rice by Cleveland police. The shooting happened outside a recreation center in November of 2014. Tamir was playing with a pellet gun when someone called the police, saying the gun might not be real. Dispatchers didn't pass along that information. A recent FBI video analysis shows Tamir was drawing the pellet gun from his waist, perhaps to hand the toy to officers.
The right arm moves upward to the center of the stomach. The right shoulder moves upwards. Right hand is at the waist. Left elbow is visible. Right arm moves out from the body. And Tamir points the gun.
Only after the shooting did officers discover the gun was not real.
Given this perfect storm of human error, mistakes, and miscommunications by all involved that day, the evidence did not indicate criminal conduct by police.
Tamir's family released a statement saying they were, quote, saddened and disappointed by this outcome, but not surprised. I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Meanwhile, keeping an eye on the economy, the governor of Puerto Rico is saying the United States is facing a humanitarian crisis under its own flag. Puerto Rico's debt debacle could soon get a lot worse. The island's government must pay about $1 billion to its creditors on the 4th of January to avoid defaulting for the second time since August. Even if it does pay on time, Puerto Rico will still be straddled with a ton of debt, roughly $73 billion in total. According to Moody's, the odds of Puerto Rico making the January payment are not good. According to Alejandro Garcia Padilla, Puerto Rico's governor, they're out of cash. And although he made similar claims last June before Puerto Rico made a $1 billion payment on the 1st of July, avoiding default in August, the island did default on a small portion of its debt, and conditions have only worsened since then. Here's a look at a New York Stock Exchange with our Stock Market Watch. Everything up, the Dow 192, NASDAQ 66, S&P 21. Coming up on News 2, some more holiday and Crucian Carnival events for you. Plus, the holidays normally mean lots of picture taking, but a warning for amateur photographers who want to save some money on those photo editing softwares. Trying to save some cash could actually cost you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Looking for a good price on some computer software? One place many consumers turn to is online ads. But as we found out, some software being sold online is not what it claims to be and could, in the end, destroy your computer. Here's more on how to be careful with these fake programs with our consumer alerts.
I wanted to erase the peanut butter from their face, and I just wanted nicer looking pictures.
So this mother of two who loves to take pictures decided to look online for the software program Photoshop. She found an ad on Craigslist offering the photo enhancing software for 50% less than the retail price.
He had purchased a business pack and he had an extra license.
She received 6 discs in the mail and quickly installed them on her computer.
The end result was that I could edit pictures, but it took a very long time and it slowed my computer down.
Eventually, the computer became so slow, she had to buy a new one.
In this case, what he was doing is he was just copying the software, which is illegal to do. He did not have the licenses he told the consumers that he had.
He is Alan Racinos, and postal inspectors say he is well known by authorities.
Mr. Racinos had a pretty lengthy criminal history, which included charges for software piracy in the past. So he was pretty familiar with the fraud, and he found he could make a lot of quick money.
These are evidence photos taken after an undercover investigator set up a purchase with Racinos and received pirated software.
I think I probably had like a little nagging feeling in my stomach, but I didn't listen to it.
The Department of Education fundraiser concert is going on right now. It's a 2-day event, so you can still catch the Wednesday one. The concerts were slated for Tuesday, December 29th and Wednesday, December 30th at Antilles School's Prior Yolike Hall on St. Thomas. Both concerts begin each night at 7:30 p.m. with a special pre-performance by the VI Youth Ensemble from 6 to 7 p.m. It's a way to support our public schools. The Department of Education is working in conjunction with Dion Parsons United Jazz Foundation. Proceeds will benefit public school music education. Again, if you couldn't make it tonight, there's another one Wednesday, December 30th at Antilles. The Toys for Tots toy giveaway event on the UVI soccer field on Saturday, December 26th was a huge success, and that's according to the Office of Senator Marvin Blyden. Mother's Choice Learning Center, in conjunction with Blyden, Kibo Thomas, who's the father of nationally popular music duo R City, and Baker Phillips of Wizard Production, distributed hundreds of gifts to children of the VI community between the ages of 2 to 12. There were also raffled gifts for 13 years old and older from local businesses. Kudos to our local businesses who came together for the Toys for Tots event. Remember, Governor Mapp has granted admin leave for the government's St. Croix district offices on December 30th for the carnival festivities. That means government offices on that day will be closed. Another half day for New Year's Eve. All government offices on both districts, meanwhile, will be closed January 6th as well for Three Kings Day. Well, here's a reminder of the Crucian Carnival events that are coming up. The Soca Monarch competition is happening in less than an hour. It's Tuesday, December 29th at 8 p.m. at the Carnival Village. Tomorrow, Wednesday, December 30th, head out to the streets for Juve. And that starts at Hannah's Rest at 5:30 a.m. bright and early. At noon that same day, the Food, Arts and Crafts Fair will begin around the Eliza McBean Clock Tower in Frederiksted. Later that evening, December 30th, Reggae Night in the Frederiksted Carnival Village. That starts at 8. If you want Calypso over Reggae, the Calypso Monarch competition will be occurring at 8 p.m. on December 30th as well at the Island Center for the Performing Arts. On Friday, January 1st, the Children's Parade starts at 10 in Frederiksted. The next day, capping off the carnival festivities, Adults Parade starts also at 10 in Frederiksted. Remember, you can go to vicarnivalschedule.com for more information. Also, take note, there will be no newscast on New Year's Eve, Thursday, December 31st, and on New Year's Day, January 1st, but watch out for TV2's live coverage of the parades. If you can't make it out on Friday for the Children's Parade, we can help keep you up with the action live right here on TV2, and that goes for Saturday as well. The Adults Parade will be aired live on TV2, so make sure you tune in. Again, no newscast on New Year's Eve, Thursday, December 31st, and on New Year's Day, January 1st. We'll be back on Monday, January 4th with all your carnival highlights. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.